On the Newshour Debate tonight, Meenakshi Lekhi is taking on Rajeev Gowda of the Congress Party, and Rahul Narvekar of the Shiv Sena is taking on Devesh Chandra Thakur of the JDU and T Rama Rao. T Rama Rao, TRS Leader, is joining us from Hyderabad. So we have good representation of regional parties and national parties. 3 regional parties, 2 national parties. That's the way it is nowadays, isn't it? I mean, it's more regional parties than national parties, and it's good we have that kind of representation of the Newshour tonight.
Very healthy for democracy.
What's not healthy for democracy is the language that all of you are using. For example, Meenakshi Lekhi, one of the most erudite BJP leaders, a well-known spokesperson who usually measures her words well. On October 15 this year, speaking to Times Now, Meenakshi Lekhi refers to Manish Tiwari as a bhopu while reacting to Kapil Sibbal's claims about the BJP's army of Twitter operators for Narendra Modi. Now, Meenakshi Lekhi, you know, with your background and your education, I am sure that you have better words to use against your political opponents than bhopu. You know, this is exactly the kind of language that brings down the quality of the debate. I don't know whether you think your supporters even are going to support this kind of language.
Arnab, my reactions depend on how I'm treated. And if I'm treating with lies, and if bhopu word was used by Kapil Sibbal in the first place, and I just replaced the context. So I think you have to give credit to Mr. Kapil Sibbal for addressing us by this language.
No, so what is the message? What is the message that you are sending out? That we will.
The message is we will deal with you in the language you understand the best and you speak.
Then why do you complain when they use that language with you? You end up both sides.
No, we don't complain.
Of course you complain. You bitterly complain.
Listen. No. The mannerism and the polity as it should be, this is not the correct messaging. But when these people are lost on words as on content, they use and they cause distortions. And when they are causing distortions, I'm within my rights to rebut that in the language they understand.
Then you should give up your sensitivity and let's tell the people of India this is what you'll expect. To the Congress spokesperson Rajeev Gowda.
No.
You see,
this you should tell the people.
If you've decided,
you should tell the people who were objecting to Shehzada. This you should tell those people.
You can tell them directly yourself. They are here. Rajeev Gowda can hear you.
Abusive language, and Shehzada is not even abusive.
No, but you know the language. I'm not going to. I think both sides are crossing the line right now. For example, you know, Digvijay Singh describes Modi as a megalomaniac, psychopath, liar.
Right. And who is he?
He had also called him a faku earlier. No, megalomaniac, right? Psychopath.
So he becomes a pappu and he becomes subservient of a pappu.
Megalomaniac, psychopath, liar, faku,
Hitler, Bichu, Saap, Nag, मौत का सौदागर. मौत के सौदागर तो सारे बैठे हुए हैं जिनके हाथ क्या खानदान की हिस्ट्री खून में रंगी हुई है.
And also Bhamasur, you missed that out. Bhamasur. Jairam Ramesh called Modi a Bhamasur, which I don't know what the translation. I think roughly approximates to demon.
That's right.
Does it? Bhasmasur, sorry, Bhasmasur.
Bhasmasur is the word.
Yeah, and you defend the use of this kind of language. You defend the use of this kind of language, is it? We should expect more of this.
Yamdut. When I remember when they called him Yamdut, I said Yamdut is also Dharmaraj, and he's going to kill all the demons who are spreading the corruption in this country.
So I don't understand, Rajiv. You know, tell me, you take offense when Narendra Modi calls Rahul Gandhi Shehzada, but your party uses words like megalomaniac, psychopath, liar, faku, bhasmasur, demon.
Arnab, basically there is a coarsening and debasing of the political debate, and this is not something that our party really wants to promote. It is, a reaction when faced with extreme provocation. You know, at a recent Congress spokesperson's meeting, Rahul Gandhi came forth and said, stick to the truth, stick to the high ground, don't get provoked. So when we see some of our leaders making these statements, it must be under extreme provocation. You know, this business of trying to reduce the fight to a personality fight, to calling people names is not anyway going to add that much more light.
But you've lost the right to take that kind of high moral position, Rajeev Gowda. When you use language like that, it's not colorful language. You may preach anything in your party spokesperson's meeting, but look at how you're practicing it on a daily basis. You are giving cannon fodder to all those people who criticize politicians for taking political discourse in our country to new lows. I mean, you cannot say one thing in your party spokesperson's meeting and use this like a language outside, and then be sensitive when somebody calls Rahul Gandhi a Shehzada.
No, there are two aspects here, Arnab. One is a response to where the provocation is coming from. Say somebody like Digvijay Singh is on Twitter and he may be responding to the kinds of statements and attacks, the coarsening of debate on that medium. The second thing is the issue about Shehzada is that this is actually a very loaded, communally charged term. It's not something that's meant to just describe a person. It's actually aimed at sending a coded message.
What is the coded message?
And this is the sort of thing that we are trying to avoid.
What is the coded message?
We are not interested in this kind of language.
You agree?
Beg your pardon?
Mr. Gowda, Mr. Gowda, the fact remains that the Congress party today is faced with serious issues such as corruption, inflation, absolutely failure of the economic system of the country, etc., etc. And therefore, having no other choice, they've been resorting to tactics of weeping over comments made by the opposition or else calling the opposition names. Therefore, Mr. Gowda, you would like to camouflage your differences, your drawbacks and your misdoings by drawing such controversies, but the people of this country are smart enough to recognize your game plan and they'll give you a befitting reply.
Let's talk about the language. The problem is all of you preach. Let's talk about the language. I mean, I don't even want to repeat some of the things the Shiv Sena has said. I mean, I find it embarrassing, but I will say it today, right?
Please say it.
You have discovered
a long history of provocative rhetoric, which has resulted in.
Yeah,
I am sorry, Mr. Gowda. We believe in.
I don't want to go down that path.
We believe in.
Let me point out, Arnab, that the debate
walking the talk, and therefore we say what we believe.
Let him complete, Rahul.
Just Arnab, what we just heard.
I have a question for Mr. Gowda.
Was again empty rhetoric.
I have a question for Mr. Gowda.
Please, waiting to listen to it. Go ahead. If the Congress party's history is to be seen, the only autocratic, undemocratic person this country has seen happens to be Mrs. Gandhi, who brought in emergency and abrogated the constitutional rights of people in this country. And the other connection of fascism lies in Mrs. Sonia Gandhi's father, who actually was a soldier in the Nazi army. Now, having these connections, what business has Manish Tiwari to call democratically elected people as fascists? Well, let me just point out, please leave people's family members who have nothing to do with India alone. Second, that just shows how we are coarsening the debate and cheapening this entire discourse. Let me now get to the other point. Who, recently, on the day when Modi was going to be anointed as the party leader, who dreamt, please, I'm not interrupting you, don't interrupt me, okay? Who dreamt about Hitler and Mussolini? It was L.K. Advani. Did we make a noise about it? Did we say L.K. Advani is dreaming about Hitler and Mussolini and the day Modi is being anointed? No, we didn't. We stayed away from that discourse, all right? So please, anything having to do with the emergency, we've already seen the people of India dealt with it, and the people of India re-elected Indira Gandhi in 1980 with a thumping majority. So that chapter is certainly closed. Everyone's learned their lesson from it. Okay, but Mr. Modi's behavior today is absolutely autocratic. There is nobody else who is involved in governance in Gujarat, and every leader of the BJP today is forced to kowtow to this one man who is the one basket in which all your eggs are. And that's what's going to be a challenge for you going forth. Let's see where things go.
No, but the point is, you think that the people of this country will get distracted with the use of language. I'd say have an aggressive debate. Have a very aggressive face-off, but have it on the economy, right? Have it on corruption.
Sure. Absolutely.
Sure.
Right. Have it on your attempts to take political parties out of the ambit of the Right to Information Act.
Have it.
No, have it out. I'd say have it out, but have it out on issues, for God's sake. Don't have it out on name calling. The kind of lowbrow name calling that your party Shiv Sena does. And I think Shiv Sena needs to be told a few things straight on its face. I mean, you describe, allow me to complete, Rahul Narvekar.
I did not know it, learn it from you or not.
You will allow me to complete. Please. KTR, I'm going to get you back on this in a minute. 1 second, KTR. Next question is to you and Devesh Chandra Thakur. By the way, I don't want to just, I have some quote of the Shiv Sena right here, according to which you describe the government as a government of eunuchs. Your party has referred to the government as a government of eunuchs repeatedly. More than, no, 1 second. Before you preach to Rajeev Gowda, anyone else, are you improving the quality of political discourse by calling a government a party, a government of eunuchs? I mean, come on, I'm sure you can do better than that.
Arnab, you'll give me
I'm sure you can do better than that.
Since you put your question quite clearly, give me an opportunity to answer it as well.
Repeatedly you use the word.
A government which is appointed by the people, for the people, and works for everyone but for the people is definitely a government of eunuchs. And this is the language.
So what do you mean when you say government of eunuchs?
Language which the common man understands and which the common man.
So you'll use more of this.
With regards to a government like the one we are facing today.
So you'll use more of this.
And therefore, I don't see anything objectionable in this.
Okay, so this is the kind of language that we should expect. So say it today on television. Say that we promise the people of this country.
We should not be debating the language. We should be debating the conduct of the government, which has been called these names.
I think we should be debating the language.
I think we should be debating
the language which you use.
We'll debate the language as well. But what's more important is the conduct of the government who has been called these names.
No, this is the habit of your party. In the 1995 assembly elections, Pawar described the Shiv Sena chief Balasaheb Thackeray as Shrimant Balasaheb, the epithet which was reminiscent of the decadent of the Peshwa rule in the 18th century. Not to be outdone, Thackeray described Pawar as a sack of maida, the derisive reference being to his portly frame. So you want to get personal. No, you made it personal in 1995, and you continue to make it very. You described Sonia Gandhi, and I quote, Uddhav Thackeray called Sonia Gandhi, quote, an imported leader who should be sent back to Italy.
But where is that far from the fact? She is an imported leader. There is no doubt about that. So I still hold to that.
So that's the relevant debate in our country. This is the debased level.
There is absolutely nothing objectionable
so you'll do more
in what you've
this.
Quoted.
Okay.
And this is the language.
Devesh Chandra Thakur and KTR.
And there is certainly nothing objectionable about this.
This is the language.
And if you think it is defamatory in any cause or any point, then you are free to take the
No, it's not a question of defamatory. It's a question of decent. It's a question of what is decent and what is indecent.
The standards of decency definitely cannot be judged and set by Congress party.
You are nobody.
Which has crossed every standard of decency. The kind of conduct they have held themselves in, the kind of attitude they've had towards the common man, the kind of corruption scandals they have indulged in, they cannot afford to talk about decency. So leave that alone.
Well, I think that, when you say, please be very careful when you say this is the language the common man understands. Do not think or fool yourself by thinking that this kind of language is the language of the common man. This is the language of the politician. It is not the language of the common man. This is the language of the Shiv Sena. It is not the language of the common man.
This is the frustration that is within the common man with regards to this government.
I'm going to open the phone calls tonight in a bit, and I'm going to ask people whether the people watching the Newshour tonight want this kind of language. I don't think so, but KTR, what do you think? Let's get KTR into the debate. Watching in from Hyderabad, what do you think? Because this is becoming the trend up to 2014.
A couple of things, Arnab, to begin with.
I want to add one more sentence.
After KTR, Meenakshi, after KTR.
Okay.
No, without an exception, I think all the political parties, be it national or regional, today cannot take a holier-than-thou posture, because we have all at some point or other have been accused of going overboard in our criticism. I see three reasons for this. One, to begin with, there is not much of a difference in terms of broad policy when it comes to Congress or BJP or any other party. When it comes to economy, defense, or the key sectors, there's not much of a difference in terms of policies. Therefore, what essentially it ends up being is more of a personality clash, between Narendra Modi, Rahul Gandhi, or the projected prime ministerial candidates across different parties, be it BJP, Congress, and other friends. So essentially what happens today is when we have 24-hour news channels feeding to the frenzy, there is a lot of mudslinging going on. There is a high decibel campaign and propaganda going on. But I can assure you one thing, the common man of India is smart enough to see through the propaganda.
Point.
And the vote...
you see, KTR, I have two young leaders on the program.
Will happen on real issues.
No, watch it. KTR, I have two young leaders on the program. All of us, everyone's young. But anyway, relatively, I would say, Rahul Narvekar is young and KTR is young. But two young leaders, one young leader sits here and says, this is the language that the common man should expect. Right? And the other young man in Hyderabad says that this is not the language the common man should expect. I don't know. Who are you to decide what the common man expects?
Mr. Arnab Goswami...
No, don't answer me. Answer KTR today because he's taken you on, please.
Mr. Arnab Goswami, you or anyone else who thinks any language used is objectionable, if you think it's objectionable, why do you go on about that language? That's the only quote.
Go on about that language?
That's the only quote in the entire speech that you'll pick up and play it for the rest of the day.
Of course we will pick it up. Why can't you look at the
other content?
You want that to be edited out.
So if you think that is
wrong, that to be edited
you
out.
are equally wrong in promoting that. By continuously reporting only that.
Well, that is the reality, isn't it?
That is not the reality.
It's not the reality.
That is the means of getting your TRPs up.
Really? And
that
what is...
It is your duty as a responsible media channel to report good content.
I think that's so farcical.
It is your duty to talk about development.
That is so farcical.
It is your duty to talk about issues concerning development. Not pick up these flimsy issues and language which is absolutely irrelevant to anyone at all.
Mr. Rahul Narvekar, look tonight at yourself when you see those words on the screen and ask yourself whether you expect me to censor what you put out, because the reality of the dirty language being used by politicians is a fact of life, and you expect the media to cover up for you. Forget that, Mr. Rahul Narvekar.
Goswami,
we will question you on that.
I don't need anyone to cover up for me or anyone else. You need to know what to report if it's so bad.
Really?
Why do you have to only concentrate on those few words? Why can't you report something which is more credible, which is more intellectual, which is more in the benefit of the society?
I'm waiting for that.
So why can't you do that?
I'm waiting for that.
Why do you join the bandwagon and why do you continue using these phrases?
I am waiting for that because I'm waiting for an intellectual debate. All I hear are the words from despicable, megalomaniac, psychopathic, liar, pappu, feku, Bhopu, and I'm sorry, Mr. Rahul Narvekar, I think the people of this country have a right to ask whether they can expect better from their politicians.
The people of this country also have the right to ask whether they can expect better from the media channels like yours.
Don't throw it like the media, Mr. Rahul Narvekar. When you are exposed, you must say that we have been exposed and we'll perhaps take some corrective steps. Devesh Chandra Thakur, where did this start? Where did it start, and do you also take some of the blame? I'm sorry, but Nitish Kumar also has likened the BJP to Hitler and fascism. Yes, this is the other point. Repeatedly, Hitler, references to the Reich, fascism, Nazis, the constant reference to the atmosphere of the Second World War has become lexicon in our debate right now. What is the attempt there? We'll get Meenakshi to respond, but would you like to explain what you're trying to do? Devesh Chandra Thakur.
Arnab, I think the topic that we are on today, I must tell you, I must remind you that the most decent language used in political parlance has been by Mr. Nitish Kumar up till now. No one can dispute that. Wow. It is only just yesterday at Rajgir, at his party's Sammelan, he was rebutting point by point on all the allegations made by respected Mr. Narendra Modi when Mr. Narendra Modi had come here for the so-called Hunkar rally. And the whole country saw as to how Mr. Nitish Kumar was picked up and allegations made against him, opportunism, casteism,
autocratic behavior,
all those things, and autocratic behavior and so on and so forth. And it's the first time Mr. Nitish Kumar has come out saying that when any leader in this country, a leader in this country should be a dhairyavan first to a person who becomes the Prime Minister of 120 crore people, must be a dhairyavan. He should not lose patience, he should not lose calm, and he should not specially say that inko chun chun ke saaf karo. In response to that, he has said, in response to Mr. Modi's statement that inko chun chun ke saaf karo, that is where he has said that these are the basics of fascism, And people who have such ideals, Hitler becomes ideals for such people who believe in this story. That is the most he has said up till now. Otherwise, there was nothing. I think we have never even in private this thing ever heard anything objectionable from his mouth or in his speeches.
So he's also joined the brigade now, right? I mean, that's the point, right? He's also, he's also joined the brigade. The point is, when he keeps saying in one speech, he makes the comparison. Rajeev Gowda, feel free to jump in. When Nitish Kumar repeatedly says Hitler, fascism, then the conclusion I draw is that he's also seizing upon something as trivial as Modi wiping his sweat. But he has skipped delving into the blast which happened during the rally. So what he's saying is, let me be also part of the high decibel battle. Let me distract attention from my accountability on why that blast happened by repeatedly talking about Hitler, fascism, etc., making it more personal. I mean, Devesh Thakur, this was not expected of Nitish Kumar. This was not, it was expected that Nitish Kumar would get into an issue-based debate. But he's not doing that. He's joined the bandwagon.
Everyone has a limit. Everyone has a limit of patience, Arnab. Everyone has a limit of patience, and everyone has also a limit as to what he will say when he crosses that limit of patience.
Well, I would only like to ask Mr. Devesh Thakur. I believe that Mr. Nitish Kumar is the kind of leader who says what he believes, and he doesn't have double standards. But in 2002, the same Mr. Modi was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. The same Mr. Nitish Kumar was the Cabinet Minister in the NDA government. He had a different opinion about Mr. Modi then. He seems to have a different opinion now, when there's no change of circumstances. Therefore, if there is a charge of double standards levied against you, I don't think there is anything wrong in that.
Every leader of the BJP.
You continued to be the cabinet minister then. You didn't resign then. What changed now between 2002 and 2013, 2012?
Till the time they were in the government. Till the time they were in the government, every leader of the BJP has praised Mr. Nitish Kumar.
The question put to you is very simple. What is the change in circumstances between 2002 and 2012? Why couldn't Mr. Nitish Kumar take the moral high ground and resign in 2002? This is nothing but opportunism which Mr. Nitish Kumar has been charged with.
These are crocodile tears of hurt which are being shed by all the political parties tonight. You started it, Meenakshi Lekhi. You started it. Narendra Modi yesterday, he started it. He took the battle to Manmohan Singh by claiming in front of him that Sardar Patel should have been the country's first Prime Minister. His attacks did not stop there. He took to Twitter after that to directly attack the Prime Minister for not giving him enough time to discuss matters related to Gujarat. He did the nitpicking. He did the act of provocation. Right? So you provoke. No, you provoke, you nitpick, you get into a personal attack, and when you get a... Question is this, Meenakshi.
What is personal? What is personal in Sardar Patel? What is personal in complaining that Prime Minister is visiting a state and under the protocol does not have the time to meet the CM of the state, has not been listening to him on earlier issues? What's wrong with that? Is this issue based or is this personal? Is the Prime Minister personal? Prime Minister is Mr. Manmohan Singh, and if I abuse Manmohan Singh, that becomes personal. But if I am asking Prime Minister to give me time to meet up on certain important issues, nothing personal about it.
No, that's simply not the point, Meenakshi Lekhi. Accept your responsibility there. The Prime Minister would have had a schedule in Gandhinagar. A Chief Minister does not go on. A Chief Minister goes on Twitter. A Chief Minister goes on Twitter, Meenakshi Lekhi, to complain that the Prime Minister did not give me time.
Why wouldn't I complain? I have a right to complain, and Prime Minister also has a Twitter account. He should have responded.
So this is what we like.
Is this not childish?
Is this not childish? Is this not childish?
I think this is being as transparent as possible.
No, it is not childish. It is bringing issues to the public purview. It is bringing issues to the public purview that when a CM wants to discuss the issue of security with the Prime Minister thinks it's more important for him to have a cup of tea with somebody from his party. And the Home Minister at that point thinks it's more important to attend a launch of a music CD. I think the country has a right to know that.
Well, as far as the launch of the music CD is concerned, it's been debated for a long time. It doesn't need the BJP to raise it.
My question is very simple. My question is very simple, Arnab. If I have a complaint that my president does not meet me because I want to discuss something important regarding polity, something about national security, and he's not meeting me, I go on Twitter and I say, look, I have asked him for time. He's in the state. I know his schedule because as a CM, I'm aware of his schedule. And under that schedule, I don't think he's doing anything substantial, but he's not meeting me. I complain. He has a right to rebut that, but these are the reasons I was not meeting.
Vasant Kumar from Mysore is holding. I go to Rajeev Gowda. 1 second, Rajeev Gowda, please answer that. This is not personal. This is not nitpicking. This is mandatory. And in fact, Rahul Narvekar, what was the word which you used? Rahul Narvekar says this is transparency.
Of course
this
is political transparency. If someone comes on Twitter and expresses his view, it's in public domain. Why not? It's the people of this country who have elected these leaders. And if they say it in public domain, what's wrong with that? I mean, why should anyone have an objection to that? I think it's one of the most fantastic things that could have happened to this
Rajeev Gowda is responding. We have a caller online whose question also is to the Congress spokesperson, but Rajeev, do respond.
Arnab, I had to make certain points.
Well, after Rajeev Gowda, Meenakshi Lekhi, I think he's heard both of you. Let him respond.
Any Prime Minister's schedule is worked out with the Chief Minister and the state government, and you had ample opportunities to work it out. All right, if it wasn't worked out and you want to make last-minute changes, then that's something else altogether. Now, on the issue of fascism and things that have been discussed, Nitish Kumar's statements, other statements, let's not look at it as name-calling. Let's go back to the origins, to the 1930s, to the to what inspired Savarkar, what inspired the foundation of the RSS and things of that sort. It is a different context. You can make a historical statement about these things without actually being name-calling. You're basically saying this is where the inspiration came from, and this
Meenakshi
is
Lekhi,
you see as part of the culture and behavior.
I have to answer him.
To be made,
distortion in history is something what one has to learn from the Congress party.
Of history. So in many cases,
no, factual reading I will give you, Mr.
You should not see this.
Factual reading I will give you, which you keep ignoring all the time.
When you hold on, Meenakshi, I'm finishing here. Let me finish first.
Gowda, you people
I'll wait for you. Wait for me first. Wait for me first.
I hate to call you liars, but
I'm not going to listen to you until you let me finish.
Meenakshi Lekhi, let him complete. He listened to you. Meenakshi Lekhi, he listened to you. He listened to you.
It's not going to go anywhere.
He listened to you. 1 minute. I come in on this point. 1 second. Meenakshi Lekhi.
All your points of view.
Meenakshi Lekhi, 1 minute. Meenakshi Lekhi, let him complete. Meenakshi Lekhi, let him complete. Here is the context. Let him complete. I'm coming in. Please respect my intervention here. Meenakshi Lekhi, let me complete. This is what Manish Tiwari said on Modi. He said, and I quote, and now I get the Congress party to respond to this. He says, and I quote, I heard a man who had prime ministerial ambitions last month on TV talking about how he would have used the centenary celebrations of cinema to further brand India. My thoughts went to a man who tried to use the Berlin Olympics to brand in history. And since then, I have seen at least on 17 different occasions, Congress leaders make a direct reference between Narendra Modi and Hitler. Now, why are you so super touchy? If a reference is made, a reference is made. You want to fight on the reference made to Hitler, Meenakshi Lekhi, or you want to talk about other issues? Because you are also getting engaged in a personality tussle.
I will make an issue out of it, because according to me, the emergency in this country was the only time.
Fine. Now here Rajeev Gowda.
And that happened to be that Hitler in this country was
Rajeev Gowda.
Mussolini in this country is represented by his daughter, by Mrs. Sonia Gandhi.
Rajeev Gowda, then a caller.
This Congress party is working in. That is what needs to be questioned.
Rajeev Gowda.
That is exactly how so
Meenakshi Lekhi, running short time. Callers are on the line.
Books have been altered. The books have been burnt. The people have been taken into custody. The children have been thrown on the streets.
The first Meenakshi Lekhi, we must divide the time equally now. Please allow me to come in. You're taking disproportionate time. Let the Congress party respond. But may I please?
I'm not taking disproportionate time, and I still
Ms. Lekhi, we've almost edged KTR out of the debate so far, which is not fair.
Sonia Gandhi called Atal Bihari Vajpayee कि इनके दिमाग का संतुलन बिगड़ गया है. That is very, and it is not started now. Till now, Congress had an upper hand and they were getting away with it. Today, people have started responding because of the internet. And because of the internet, I call it the God, the formless God with which...
Now, yes, I'm going to take a couple of callers. Now, 1 second, Meenakshi Lekhi. Meenakshi Lekhi, 1 minute. 1 minute. Our first caller, Rajeev, I'm coming straight to you. I just want to take a first caller, please. And this is Vasant Kumar from Mysore. The question is, will this kind of a debate help our country? Vasant Kumar, good evening. Arnab here. What do you think? I think you have a question for the Congress party.
I am Dr. Vasant Kumar speaking from Mysore. Yeah, when Congress does not have the answers for rising commodities and they don't have the answer for corruption, and they are getting nightmare about Modi, it is quite natural to use such languages. It is well expected. And Congress, first time in their lifetime, they are getting rebuke from such languages from other opponent parties.
Okay, Vasant Kumar, I thank you for your question. Rajeev Gowda, respond.
Okay, the two aspects here. One has to do with Modi's style of functioning, and it's perfectly appropriate for enough people to point out that this style of functioning is autocratic and fascistic and everything else. The second point is about the state of the economy. There are different aspects of the economy. One aspect of the economy is that there is more money in rural India. We have created a whole set of rights-based laws. Essentially today, everyone wants to focus on those who are rich and urban, and we're not interested in looking at those who have been lifted out of poverty. We've seen tremendous progress in the last decade. All these kinds of
kilo of onion.
Inflation comes and goes. Inflation comes and goes. And
inflation comes and goes, but it doesn't bother congressmen sitting in Delhi and in Mantralaya and Maharashtra, but it bothers the villagers and the rural people you're talking about.
It takes its time to sort out.
One more caller, please. Manish from Mumbai. Yeah, Manish from Mumbai. Good evening, Manish.
Yeah, I'm Manish Gaunani from Mumbai.
Yes.
I have a question for Madam Lekhi.
Yeah, go ahead.
There is absolutely no necessity for BJP to raise, they should stick on the issues and they should not harp on the various things. As they had lost 2004 and 2009 election only because of their spokesperson and because of India shining and feel good factor, this thing. So the slogan. So it's absolutely for why, Madam. When I see you on the TV, you always you are always fighting on the issue. You are always fighting with other parties and all this. Why you should concentrate on the real issue of the onions and all this. No need for you to portray Modi and all this. Absolutely, you can win on the symbol itself, on your symbol and brand name. Absolutely no need for you to harp on Modi and other things. We want the prices of onions and the essential commodity should
I think it's well said. So well said. So you know what, Manish? This is the point. Now I want to go back to Katie.
I want to answer him. This is a question to me. Mr. Gowda, this is a question to me, and let me answer this gentleman.
Briefly.
I welcome your suggestions. But you're not somebody whose suggestion I'll take seriously for the simple reason that when I am being attacked from all sides, I have every business to rebut and respond. I will not be a punching bag for others. That is my statement. And so far as onion prices and other stuff is concerned, we are constantly speaking on this. In fact, I wrote a piece in the month of March. You can search it on the net, you'll find it, that this is exactly what the Congress strategy is because they have failed on issues. They've failed on the subject of economy, employment and so on. They want to bring the level of the debate down, and that is exactly what they are going to do, and this is exactly what what is happening.
But I can assure you, no, I think
faced with it.
Can I say one thing, Meenakshi?
I am going to respond.
Can I say one thing, Meenakshi, with respect to you and with your experience that I think you're getting very touchy. The fact of the matter is, KTR, let's get you in. 5 issues I put before the viewers tonight. Onions, vegetable prices, inflation, growth, rising EMIs or the fear of it, and loss of jobs. You put this to any viewer of the Newshour tonight, anywhere in the country, and you ask them, we want to talk about this or we want to talk about megalomaniac, psychopath, liar, fascist, pappu, popu, and no, Meenakshi, no, Meenakshi.
No, just listen.
Meenakshi, I need to take a view from KTR on this. KTR, KTR, what do people want to hear?
Modi should not fight on Modi.
What do people want to hear?
Modi. That is the statement.
What do people want to hear? They want...
Arnab.
No, I think you are losing the plot if you think people want to hear the political fight. People want to hear an answer to inflation, growth, EMIs and jobs. KTR.
And the answer lies in Mr. Modi's personality.
KTR.
Who these people
KTR, please.
Arnab, the only thing I would like to say, Arnab, is we are a very emotional country. We dwell on history. We love to hear, cathartic stories of how our past presidents, how our past prime ministers have performed and how they've been assassinated, etc. But at the end of the day, as you rightly put it, in spite of what the political discourse is, in spite of the political discourse and political commentary at this juncture in the country hitting an all-time low, the voting eventually in 2014 will happen on real issues such as inflation, economy, job creation, industrial growth. Those are the real issues people care about. Yes, while they might actually take a relief, comic relief, out of leaders calling each other names and stooping really low. But at the end of the day, the people are smart enough. The people are smart enough to see through the design. The people are smart enough to see through the propaganda. At the end of the day, the voting will happen on real issues. What does the UPA stand for? What does the NDA stand for? What do the regional parties stand for? These are the issues that people will really think about before voting, and not name calling really.
Oh, well, you say what does Narendra Modi stand for? I'm not sure. Devesh Chandra Thakur, our political party, especially the two national political parties, losing the plot in this personal fight.
Well, definitely yes, because as Mr. KTR put it rightly, it is going to be the real issues, going to be the issues of prices, going to be the issues of jobs, it's going to be the issues of eradicating unemployment and corruption. Definitely is going to be the real issues which are going to be decisive matters as far as the 2014 elections are concerned. I don't think it's going to be on personalities or it's going to be on any individual personalities at all.
Yeah, and what happens in all of this name calling is that nobody ever gets down to saying, this is my promise, this is my commitment, that this is how I'm going to do it. People really want to hear an answer on inflation, growth, EMIs and jobs. And in this name calling, all of this is completely lost. I believe it will be tragic here if the election of 2014 sees high decibel levels, but absolutely no focus on these critical issues. One more caller is coming in tonight. That's Prabal from Kolkata. Prabal, good evening. This is Arnab here. Who's your question to?
Good evening. I have two observations. Number one, that the very basic purpose of a debate is not to win, but to progress. So I haven't seen any progress out of here. That is number one. And number two, what are they fighting for? Is for their own party or for India? That is number two. I am asking all of them that. And number three is the most important, is that I personally believe that they are all very good in history. But the problem is that nobody wants to learn from history and make progress.
Well, I think that's a very, very good observation, Prabal. Look at the comments of all our viewers. I'm getting a sense here. You people need to understand, you people as in politicians, Rahul Narvekar, that you will lose the plot and the connect with the people. Increasingly, people will believe that you're obsessed with each other. I'm sorry, it's you as in representative. You're all obsessed with each other, and you are not obsessed with the people who you want to represent. And people will see through it. Well, they will enjoy. As somebody said here, this attacks will provide comic relief at most.
Well, Arnab, I absolutely concede to the fact that a debate should be based on issues like corruption, inflation, growth, development, etc., etc. And the responsibility for that is not only on the politicians on your panel today or in the respective political parties, but it is also equally upon you as a media channel to draw these issues, debate on these issues. I would have appreciated had you had a debate tonight on these issues rather than debating
the tragedy, before you point
a finger at all of us or any political party, you need to also look into what you are doing. And I think let's together come together and take this country forward.
The tragedy with political parties and politicians like you, Rahul, is that you only believe that the media should be given the job of governing the country. You govern the country. And one minute, when you cross the line and when our viewers give that honest feedback that this has gone on too far, and by the way, Rahul Narvekar, don't forget, all the scams were broken by the media. The questions on corruption are being... The questions on corruption were being... Where were you, Rahul Narvekar? Where were you? Where were you, Mr. Narvekar?
Mr. Narvekar, on your channel debating that.
You didn't expose
I have been on your channel debating that.
You didn't expose the other scam. You didn't expose the 2G scam. You didn't expose the CWG scam. You didn't expose the Devesh scam. You didn't talk about accountability and corruption. So, Mr. Rahul Narvekar, please don't preach to the media consistently. Please realize at one point of time that it's for you to carry the responsibility.
While you broke these scams, I was on this channel, in this studio, debating those issues,
which is why you must take back what you just said. Yeah, which is why you must take back what you said.
I have appreciated that. In the same breath, I'm telling you, continue doing that good job. Don't lose focus and don't debate such irrelevant issues.
It's irrelevant.
That's all I'm telling you.
It's irrelevant.
And that's exactly what your viewers have said.
I think it's extremely relevant at a point, you know, especially when, for example, one political leader says that another political party is going to create communal trouble in the run-up to the 2014 elections. Now, what does that mean? It means that you are trying to create a climate of fear. You agree with me, Rajeev Gowda? You try and create a climate of fear.
Absolutely. That is something to be absolutely worried about, because one of the ways in which divisive parties go ahead and generate support is through fear-mongering. We've just seen what happened.
But by the way, Rajeev Gowda, that was a Congress leader who said that.
That we do not want to see. However,
that was a Congress leader who said that.
When you bring up issues, don't just focus on issues of inflation alone. Also focus on issues about rights-based policies.
Do you agree with the charge, Rajeev Gowda?
All these kinds of investments in India and its people that really matter. We should not have this urban bias in how we look at the world.
KTR, the question here is that a lot of people are going to sense today that this high decibel contest you are creating, this name calling, rally versus rally, speech versus speech that you are doing is an attempt to distract from the real issues. You think people will stop forgetting the fact that you have to buy today brinjals and lady fingers and beans for 3 times the prices that you had to a few years back, that onions are available at 100 rupees a kilo, that people are losing jobs, EMIs are going up, inflation is at a high, growth is at a low. People will forget all this because they'll get distracted by Pappu versus Feku versus Bhopu and whatnot. I don't think they will. Will they, KTR?
Arnab, I have one quick thing. See, camouflaging the real people issues, people-related issues, as you rightly put it, by the political rhetoric, and it can only provide a temporary comic relief. For the people at large, I think essentially they can see through the design of the political parties. They can take a good laugh at what is happening, but at the end of the day, the people are smart enough, the people will decide on real issues as to who stands for what and as to what they need in the days to come.
Our last caller on Newshour, I have a question. Is Siddharth calling from Delhi? Good evening, Siddharth. What do you think?
Good evening, Arnab. I have a few basic points which I really want to address to all these political parties. That as a common man, we are only interested in governance. That is it.
That's well said.
And that is what we really expect them to do. What I really feel, that, sorry to use these 2 words, but whatever they're speaking is basically stupid and childish. And one more thing, they think that we have short memory, but at this age of technology, we really don't. So we can anytime go back to what they've said and what they've done. And if it's really basically, I don't know, whether they're trying to divert the attention of the common person, and whatever kind of their language they're using, it's none of our business, it's not a use to us too.
Siddharth, I think tonight, may I say this, and even the politicians esteemed will agree, you speak for a lot of people when you say that. This is all we want. We want governance. You give the high decibel fight. No, Meenakshi Lekhi, I have to wrap up. I'm totally short of time. You give the high decibel fight.
I have to speak for a minute.
No, I have completely short.
You have to give me the closing word.
I can't. I'm totally short of time. I give the viewer the closing word tonight because I think he speaks for a lot of people. We want governance.
Couple of seconds.
We want governance, accountability, jobs and growth.
You can't close it like that.
That's all. That's all people want.
As the gentleman said, one can go back on the timeline. The timeline will tell that Congress always starts. because they don't have issues, they want to divert, and we are left with no option. But
nobody can divert the attention of the Indian voter.
The BJP, just like Ms. Lekhi today, the BJP attacked Sonia Gandhi's in 2004, and they were met with a resounding defeat. I think that's the same thing that's going to happen to them this time.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on debate number 1. I'm back with debate number 2 on whether a third front is the answer for this country in a few minutes. Please come back. Stay tuned to the Newshour.